Hello everybody, bright blessings. I'm Lady Leeanna with another edition of Tarot Card Lessons Made Easy, where currently we're still highlighting the major arcana cards by taking two cards that are as close as possible in their meaning and highlighting those in each show. Well, as I've said on the last show, we are at the end of the major arcana, so it's very hard to find that two that are just alike. So we're just taking two cards that are of a positive meaning or a negative meaning that are close to each other and highlighting those. And today, I would like to highlight for you this little lady here, Strength, and this card right here, the Fool. Okay? And their meanings, taking them apart, dealing with their symbols first, and covering those as much as possible, and then covering the meanings of the cards in themselves. Alright? And so we're going to begin, and we're going to start with the Strength card. And you should be having your cards out now, the same as ever, so that you can go over these with me and see everything that I'm talking to you about, because I can't hold these up for you guys all through the show. Okay? So, let's dig out your Strength card, and let's start talking about the Cosmic Lemniscate, which hovers over the lady's head, which is the figure 8 that hovers over her head, meaning eternity, and is also a symbol for strength and passion within oneself. Now, the girl's hair, it seems to be made up of flowers, which means she's definitely in tune with nature. But is she in tune with herself? It seems that she's very concentrative, but it's on the other entity that's there with her, which would be the lion. And she's wearing a pure white gown, and she seems to be draped with all kinds of florals down around her waist, foliage, and it's reds and greens within my cards. Might be somewhat different in yours, who knows, but it looks like there may also be fruit involved, which generally is frutility, and country living, as well as nature and so forth. A lion is a stubborn aspect, not a bad one. It's strong, it's strengthful, it can be stubborn, dominant, and so forth. But here, the lady is dominating over the animal itself, and that means that she's good at applying her will upon others to get what she wants. But she's not focusing inwardly. And it says she needs to master her own animal passions to get that which is wanted. Strength and courage is needed and will be applied. It shows one can get their wish because they're courageous. They're full of strength. But will they master their own animal passions determines, or is determined by whether the card's in the upright position or in the upside down position. One needs to master their own animal passions in order to accomplish whatever task it is that they're on. And that's what the card is about. Generally, tells the client or the subject of the reading that they need to master their own animal passions. They need to let themselves control their habits or their desires instead of letting their desires or their habits control them. And that would be, you know, sexual love as opposed to inward, true, and pure love that one may have for another. You know, it may be that one is needing to quit smoking or drinking or lose weight or whatever to be in better health, or to continue living in extreme conditions or cases. But basically, It's also controlling people. Being overly controlling can mean over-ambition. It can mean intensity. Let's see. But in the upside down position, it means being controlled by others, pettiness, weakness, obsessiveness, and things that a lot of people would fear from themselves. Instability, and anything other than peace, and a relationship that is destined to fail due to one's control over the other. Let's see. So it can be a very negative card in the upside down position where it involves relationships, even friendships. I mean, if one friend is overly controlling of another, that other friend's going to try to get away as soon as possible, or as soon as they realize what's going on and that this is the case. But the Strength card is really about one needing to control themselves, regardless of whether it's the subject themselves or somebody in their life that is controlling them. Let's see. Now, it shows flat lands around the individuals in the cards, the lion and the woman, and a mountain in the background. Mountains, as I've told you in other cards, represents evolution of oneself to a higher placement, getting where one needs to be. Shows that one needs to grow within themselves, considering the mountain is far off in the distance and behind them, and that the subject of the reading may need to pay closer attention to find the signs that are around them that gives them a clue as to where they need to go in this particular case. Let's see. Let's see. And now I'd like to talk to you about the Fool. That's this little fellow here. Is generally said to be the first card in the major arcana. And I mean, others have said it to be the last card in the major arcana. So, you know, me, they're all there. They're all important. The others don't exist without them. You know. Okay, but we have the Fool, which depicts a sun glowing white, which is pure energy. Okay? And it could be sharp and cutting. Okay? But being watched over by a pure entity. Frivolousness, lighthearted, and gaiety. Okay, the Fool is carrying his purse on a stick off the back of his club, which he's not even looking around back behind him. He could lose his purse anywhere on the path and he'd probably not even know it. He has his head in the clouds. He's a dreamer and a mystic, you know, and that's not a bad thing, but he is paying attention to nothing at all. And it looks as though his trusty dog down to his left-hand side is trying to catch his attention, or is just walking right off that cliff with him. But he's walking right off the cliff, you know, and without thinking twice about it. Now, his clothing is floral, which represents fruitility, and it's got what looks like also fruits and vegetables on it, you know, also fruitility. A white flower in his hands, which represents peace, pure peace. So he's very at ease with himself or herself and whatever he's doing. He wears his ankle boots and his stockings, you know. So, you know, pretty much the gesture, you know, the jester. Let's see. So what is the dog doing? Is the dog trying to get his attention? Is the dog just walking right off with him? It depends on what you see when you're reading the client's cards. I mean, it can vary. It can be both, but at different times. Or it could be both at the same time. I mean, what if the dog is just so loyal? He would try to get his attention, but at the same time, he's going to keep walking with him. You know, what is that saying about the Fool? Well, you know, in the card by textbook meanings. It's the subject of the reading has a very important choice to make in life and must use all of his or her power to make the right choice. In the upright position, the choice is likely to be the correct one. In the upside down position, the choice is likely to be the faulty one. But there are other meanings to the cards. Frivolity, joyfulness, clumsiness. In the upside down, the perpetual Peter Pan, one that's so goofy that, you know, they don't really give a shit. They're going to fall right off the cliff and without thinking twice about it. And, you know, in the upright position, it's one that feels that they have to have a safety net, that the higher power is going to catch them, possibly. You know, there are many different meanings within the cards, but it means a choice that the subject of the reading has to make and must use all of their power to make the right choice. The choice made is likely to be the correct one or the faulty one, depending on the upright position or the upside down. Different other aspects in the cards is the dog, which is the civilized idea of what a wolf is, which is the natural, unman-touched idea of nature. And, you know, dogs are kind of a link between the wilderness and animal natures and civilized nature, coming to be civilized and so forth. So there are different things in there to do with that, which would be, let's see, one that is either willing or unwilling to listen to other people and let other people's ideas groom them into making better decisions within their life, or whether they'll not listen to them and just make the bad choice. Again, the dog trying to warn, you know, the person walking off the cliff that they're fixing to walk off the cliff, and the fool isn't listening. Generally, in a reading, this can also represent one that refuses to listen to wisdom. Okay? And in the upside down position, this is said that they absolutely would not listen to wisdom and will make the greatest mistakes. Okay? So, alright, now, there appears to be, on the opposite side of the mountain, which is brown that he's walking off of, blue with white peaks, either waves or snowbanks. Now, it's quite possible that this is talking about the white waters of a river running, you know, and water always represents the subconscious. Now, in decisions that you would make, there's a lot of thinking involved, and that's exactly what this is talking about. And it can represent, will you listen to yourself when your mind knows when something's wrong but your heart still wants to fall or to trust, whether it's a lover or a friend or a stranger or faith within the God system, etc. But basically, all through life, you find people in the above and around you trying to communicate with you. And nature, animals, of all things, they'll tell you when a hurricane's fixing to strike or just a strong storm. You can see it in ants as they move to scurry about and get things in place or in order. You know, will you listen to your own trusty pet? Will you listen to your farm animals? Because they're smarter than you whenever it comes to matters of the earth. They're closer to it, generally. And a lot of them, they have 4 feet on the ground instead of just 2. And they know how to listen to themselves a lot better than we as people do. And trust me, I'm talking about myself too.